Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I'm fixing to do some weed eating. I got to get all dressed up and go do my thing. But I thought before I do that, I would share some of my thoughts. And the thing is, I've been to Cuba. I hate repeating a lot of this stuff, but it's the stuff that I've done, the stuff that I've seen that helped me think and make sense of what I think, what I see. And but I went to Cuba, and they arrested me, and that's under normal conditions. I wouldn't say that was much of an experience, just going to a foreign country. I mean, it is an experience the first time, the second time. It's kind of neat, you know. But really what made it an experience is, like I say, they arrested me. And I was 50 years old. And that's a story in itself. And I've told the story, but and I was only there for 10 days. And being there 10 days, eventually I was able to get a special permit that allowed me to travel all over Cuba. Now I can't go back, but I was able to get all around there. I was there for 10 days and I lost 11 pounds. And they had no food. And they didn't have food for themselves. Now, if you stayed in the tourist areas, most people go to the tourist areas. You stay in the tourist areas, they had food there. And, they would, they could fatten you up. They'd do really good with you while everybody in the country starved. And I was all over the country. But Cuba's small. And another thing, I was in China. And let's see, I was in China, was it two or 3 years ago? And there they didn't throw me in jail. I was threatened many times, some direct, some indirectly. And I fattened up over there. Don't forget, I'm half Chinese. I was brought up on Chinese food. I own Chinese restaurants, man. I mean, I found food. And they were quite prosperous compared to Cuba. The one thing Cuba and China's got in common is they're communists. Okay, so in other words, there's no religion, and you always do as you're told in the communist countries. You always do as you're told. No exceptions. And because its punishment is harsh. And not only for you, but your whole family. And that's why when, see Chinese come here in the United States, if they get out of line here in the United States, their family back home will be punished. So that's why it's a little different. And like I say, I lived 14 years in Central America, in Guatemala mainly, but I did spend some time in other places. Normally what I do is I get a room for a month, and then I don't stay in my room. I'm getting around, seeing things, learning things, and seeing things. And one thing down there, and Mexico too, Central America and Mexico. And well, I guess in parts of Asia, I was in Asia, ran around down there, and same thing, a month here, a month there, I'm in all these places. So I get kind of familiar with the people. And the one thing, the one thing that's characteristic in all the places that I go. Now, right now, I don't want to talk about the United States, but all these other places, the one thing that I've learned about humans is they're motivated by what they food, water, and shelter, or in my case, shelter. Uh, that's what motivates these people. And most of the places I've been, shelter hasn't been a big priority because a lot of times I'm in tropical areas. But now China wasn't. That was, and they had shelter. And so this is what motivates them. And that's why you hear me talk about, water. You need water, food, and shelter. Okay, that's the main thing. And that's the main thing. Like I say, been on a cattle ranch and raised cattle as a cowboy. And I've seen other homesteads in which they have other critters that they're raising, livestock of some type. And one thing they all have in common is food, water, and shelter. And once you provide this, they're all cooperative. So in other words, I'm comparing people with animals. Because to get cooperation from people, you need to make sure they have those elements. And who gives them these elements is who they listen to. And I say in communist countries, it's the government. So they listen to them. In other places that I've been where it's not communist, most all of them were at least socialists, maybe dictatorship. And but it's the same rule applies. When the people don't have food, water, and shelter, they get crazy. And to add to that food, water, shelter, it's also safety. And in communist countries, safety is not a problem because the government got a strong hand on everyone. Even though I will admit, when I was in Cuba and China, I did find the black market. I did find places that weren't government controlled. And but like I say, in general, people are treated as animals. Now, going to the United States, I'll talk about America is different. Okay, the thing is, I was born and raised here in the United States. I've owned businesses all my life. I know what my limitations are, and it's what I can do. And I'm not. It's easy to say I'm not held back, but you are. I was held back, and a lot of people are really held back, even here in the United States. And that's where you hear me talk about government regulations and stuff like that. But this government still has to have some means of control, even here in the United States. But normally, your food, water, and shelter is provided by ourselves, we Americans. We provide that to ourselves by giving us the opportunity to do something with our lives. And personal safety. And that's why I'm saying it's always confused me. I always wonder what's going to happen. I see everything that they've got a rough life every place I go. Their limitations are really severe. Now, but can that happen in the United States? because we provide for ourselves, even personal safety. And, well, more than just personal safety. I mean, like I say, I've owned my own businesses. I protect my businesses. Uh, I, I protect other people around me, just like they protect me. This is where you hear me talk about the three-man militia stuff. It's not all, protection isn't always the physical act of someone's going to hurt you. I needed help from the government. I needed to work with others to help me figure out how to protect myself from the government, to keep my businesses going. And I say we have firearms here. That's why you don't ever want to lose your firearms. You really don't want any kind of limitations on your firearms. And the reason is the people that are going to be using firearms on you don't have limitations, either black market or government. They have no limitations. So we shouldn't have any limitations, but that's another video also. And that's something I'm thinking we know. But like I say, the same thing, we're animals. And this is something that I've noticed, that for their own personal protection, people have been bowing down here in the United States, bowing down to the government. I mean, when your shelter is in jeopardy, you will go along. Food and water, you will go along, unless you've got the capabilities of protecting this stuff. And then when you do have those capabilities, then your attitude's a little different. That's why you notice my attitude's a little different. I know all the ways. I've been in at least 2 active civil wars. And I'd say I've been in 2 countries where money just exchanged. I mean, from you might have money and then you get the new money, and maybe you're lucky they'll trade you 1-to-1, but it's going to limit how much they're going to give you. And if you're not so much limited, and Mexico, when they changed theirs, I think it was 1,000-to-1. So every 1,000 pesos you have, you get 1 new peso. So I've seen a lot, and I've experienced a lot. I've lived through a lot. This is why I look at humans and human activity a little different than most people. I know people will buckle under. Not everybody. But that's where you hear about this 3%ers. It's probably about 3% that won't buckle under. And the reason they won't buckle under is they've prepared some way or another. And what's kind of funny is, okay, I have since Vietnam, I've considered myself a man among men. And that's why you hear me make man up videos, and I talk about morals and stuff. These are all things that you don't hear in foreign countries. At least I've never heard. But like I say, I haven't been to Europe, so maybe it's different there. But these are things that are unheard of. Now the difference right now, talking about being man among men, it's kind of funny because really, I'm 71. I have slowed. I've experienced injuries, sicknesses, stuff like this that have slowed me down. But I'm still a man among men, but not so much physical. And this is why they take young men to war. They got more of the physical stuff going on, and that's how you become a man most of the time, but not always. That's why military people a little easier to work with in one way, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in any country. Every country I've gone to, the military people are different, and the career military people, they know they work for the government, and so it's a little different there. And I say here, our military is mainly used outside our borders. Every place I've gone, the military has worked in their borders. So they've got guaranteed food, water, shelter, and they're allowed to have a gun for safety. Well, that's what I was talking about. It takes care of their safety. So, but that's why I think a little different than most. That's why I say stuff that's a little different than most. And I've had the situations happen to me that make many men buckle under. I'll tell you, it's not that easy. And you can tell the same thing. People have been to prison. Their attitude changes, because like I say, they've gone that extra mile. Now, what they're going to get out of it, I don't know. But like I say, they're different. And but anyway, people are animals, basic animals: food, shelter, water, and we give our animals protection. And that's 97% of the people. So here in the United States, and I'm sure there's even more people that are looking for government being taken care of outside the United States. So, but anyway, I just thought I'd maybe kind of feel it, get a better understanding about how people are and how and why they react a certain way. But anyway, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com.